I'm so excited about my new video light and I can't wait to talk about it. But first, let's go to the kitchen, get a tasty beverage, get comfortable, and come back here and I'll tell you all about it. For the past year, I've been using a 3-light setup in this room for the most part, and it consisted of the Aputure 672 with the little easy box softbox, and I usually put an umbrella in front of it to diffuse it even more than the included diffuser material. And then in addition to that, 2 Aputure F7s, little small lights for the background and rim lights. And I've been really happy with those. They work great for this little small room, and the color rendition is fantastic, and they're really quite inexpensive for how good they are. But over the past year, I've had the opportunity to go and shoot in some other situations where I needed a little bit more light, and sometimes I needed softer light. Cover a bigger area, just all kinds of reasons that the 672 was getting pushed a little beyond what it was really capable of. So, say hello to my little friend! So I did what all the cool kids do, and I got myself an Aputure 120D Mark II, and the Light Dome version 2, and a C-stand to hang it on. There's no mystery as to why it's so popular. It really is good. I'm amazed by it. Now, I didn't really need it for this room. This room is so small, I didn't really need this much light, and I was doing really fine with using the 672 for a key light in here. But, like I said, I got the opportunity to shoot in some other environments where I needed more light and softer light, and this thing really ticks some boxes, so I'm really happy with it. Now, there's a lot of reviews out there that are really good and in-depth, and there's all those guys who know tons about lights who can explain all that stuff to you better than I can, but I did at least want to share my enthusiasm for this thing with you, and maybe show you a little bit about my room light setup as it stands now. So now that I have that 120D Mark II as a key light, I've decided to move the 672 around to a different spot and sort of resituate my background lights just a little bit to try and improve the look that I had in here. So you might have noticed if you've seen any of my other videos that this is kind of similar to my previous lighting look for this particular position of the camera and everything, but it's slightly different in some ways. So I'm going to just step you through how I've got things placed in here, and if I turn off the key and the rim light, we can see those background lights back there. So you can see over there on the right side of the screen, my left, there is a bit of a glow, an orangey glow on that bookcase and the amplifier that's sitting in there, and that is the F7 that's dialed down to 3200 Kelvin, just kind of shining up at that bookcase a little bit. And then on the other side, you can see the blue that's sort of behind me, and that is really a gray wall that's being lit by another Aputure F7 that is set to 9500 Kelvin. Now, if I turn on the 672 that I'm using for a rim light, you can see that it gives a nice little orangey glow now, and that's because I have that orange diffuser or orange gel sheet over the top of that, and it's sort of just giving me that little bit of a glow on the side there and separating me from the background. Now I also have that easy box softbox on it, but I don't have a diffuser in front of it. That's just to control the spill from that light. Now on the key light, if I turn that on, that's the 120D Mark II. And for this one, I've got the heaviest diffusion on it, and I've got it not turned up too high, but just enough to get my exposure right here. But I also have the crate on the front of it, or grid, whatever you want to call it, and that's controlling some of that spill from that light to try and keep from coloring or overexposing the background here, or overexposing any of this stuff over in this area for that matter. So anyway, that's my little simple setup that I've got going on right now, and I'm really happy with it. Again, this is kind of unnecessary for this small of a room, But everything's an opportunity to learn, and since I want to use this light on jobs and take it on location and stuff, I really felt like a good place to start was to just start with something I'm really familiar with and see if I could dial in something I like even better than what I was doing before, and I think I'm getting there. So if you have any ideas or thoughts on light placement and things like that, I'd definitely like to hear it. Leave it in the comments. And if you have any thoughts on the Aputure lights, particularly the 120D Mark II and the light dome and all that, definitely like to hear any of your thoughts on this stuff. And if you have any questions, leave those in the comments, and click like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.